Ooh, class, a little bit low on this board here. I better scoot it up. All right, topic. This is our last board on post-classical 600 to 1400 CE. Our essential question: how did the trade increase cultural diffusion? So a lot of these boards will be review, but nevertheless they need to have good notes. Developments in the Americas. The Mayan decline. The Mayan decline began around 800 CE. Overuse of land, very large populations are some of the reasons for the fall. They're not 100% sure why the Mayans fell, but these are some of the explanations that the top scientists have come up with. After the Mayans declined, there were two other great empires in the Americas that began to rise. That's the Aztecs and the Incas. So the Aztecs arrived in central Mexico around 1200. They built the capital, Tenochtitlan. They had a professional army. Tenochtitlan is in present-day Mexico City. The Aztec Empire was huge, 12 million people. Conquered people were allowed to keep their own customs, their own rituals, their own civilizations. So as the Aztec Empire grew, it overcame and took over other cultures and just incorporated them into theirs. And this is very similar, and when we're talking about world history and different places, empires around the world at this time, this could be likened to the Roman Empire, the Byzantine Empire, how they took over the Mediterranean and let individual colonies or whatever keep their identities. The Aztecs had a thriving empire all the way up until the Europeans invaded with Cortez coming in the late 1400s. Now the Incas controlled about 2,000 miles of coast in South America, mostly in present-day Peru. They also had a professional army, bureaucracy, unified language, roads and tunnels. Unfortunately for the Inca as well as for the Aztecs, they had no large animals. So peasants did the work, so any kind of building, they didn't have horses or oxen to pull carts or to pull anything. The large capital city of Cusco could hold up to 300,000, and that's in the interior of Peru, and I've actually been there, one of my favorite places in all the world, Cusco. All right, nobility and the ruler with God had godlike qualifications, or qualities, I'm sorry, having descended from the heavens. So there was this different, social classes with the nobilities up here and, everyone else below. Now let's just review a little bit of the interactions of cultures. So trade exploded between 600 and 1400 CE. These are some of the big trade that really started to hook up and share ideas and share culture with other peoples around the world. So you had the Mediterranean trade around the Mediterranean Sea, obviously. Hanseatic League, where the many northern cities in northern Europe bound together to increase their prosperity and increase trade. The Silk Road, back and forth across Asia. The Mongols, who spread all the way from the Pacific all the way to Europe, and their abilities to increase trade. China-Japan trade, India-Persia trade, and the Trans-Saharan trade. Okay, trade all around the world increased. The use of monetary systems. So with trade, people had to have a way to buy and or sell things that were equal. The use of credit, accounting, better business, money management. So trade increased not only the ability to trade stuff and make money off of those trades, but it increased banking systems as well. Cultural spread, religions, languages, trade also brought diseases such as the Black Plague from Asia to Europe, which killed millions of people. Now the Indian Ocean trade greatly advanced the spread of trade and culture throughout the vast Indian Ocean area. So you had many people from the Islamic area of present-day Saudi Arabia and along the coast of Africa, the eastern coast of Africa, and they were moving across the Indian Ocean and trading with the people in the Far East, and they would bring their luxury items back, and that's when people really started to gain a liking for some of these luxury items. The Silk Road from 1200 to 1600 was the reason West meets East. And I really like that idea because all of the items, especially the silks and the spices that were coming across the Silk Road, it really got people fired up in Europe to find better ways and more prosperous ways to get to the East. All sorts of items are traded, as well as culture and religion. All right, our last board here. Expansion of religion and empires. This is the period, this time period is all about expansion of empires, often driven by religion. Here are some of the examples of expanding empires. So you have the Mongols taking over all of Asia, the German tribes coming down from the northern part of Europe, Vikings taking over northern Europe and all the way down to Constantinople, the Magyars. Islamic empires moving across North Africa and into Spain. You got the Crusades going from Europe into the Middle East. Buddhism into Japan. Orthodox Christians moving east. And our last notes here, just about the Crusades. The Crusades in 1096, Pope Urban II starts his first crusade to the Holy Land, present-day Israel. The Crusades were not only a religious move to the Middle East, but an economic one as well. Religion combined with conquest can be bloody. And then the last note, Crusades, not successful, but the interaction was. So when we're talking about the economic and the interaction, there was a trading of culture. There was a trading, and this was a time, the Crusades, when the Middle Ages had undertaken the European continent. Only 1 in 100, if that, people could read or write. And so when the Crusades went to the Middle East and into fight the Crusades, they were able to see the cultural expanses that the Islamic people and bring that back to Europe. And it ended up bettering Europe from the Crusades. Although not so good for the people in the Middle East, because a lot of them got, like it says here, bloody, butchered, and killed. So, once again, these are our boards for post-classical. Remember, history's no mystery. Take good notes.